What's going on, it's the Rap Nerd, and I saw this subject a few days ago. My man, Film Fiend, sent it over, where Jim Jones was recently on the Jadakiss and Fat Joe podcast, and he had an argument about being a bigger and better rapper than Nas, like overall. And I think somebody needs to do a wellness check on Jim Jones because he clearly is losing it. I feel like he's literally going through a midlife crisis. And this isn't the first time he did it. He went after Push 2 years ago, which was out of nowhere. It's discussing 50 MCs, and like, regardless of what you think about Pusha T is above Jim Jones. Like, you can't talk about like people who are above you from an MC level and just a cultural standpoint level. Jim Jones, everything he talks about, what he did, like it was just him alone. No, he was with a group of New Yorkers. Dipset was the big thing. Easily. Like, all Jim was known for was being the goon that'll get physical. That's what he's been known for a minute. And he just got his little shot, when he did We Fly High. But even then, you still was around Jewels and all them other New York guys who were from Harlem. So you can't even take credit for that. I did watch the clip. I'm not gonna play it, but it's just full of delusion, man. I don't understand how he arrives there. But what I didn't know is that Jim hopped on the Nightcap podcast, and that's the joint with Shannon and Ocho Cinco. And Shannon told him to his face, like, you not a better rapper than Nas. Ain't nobody gonna pick you over Nas, even in Dipset. But the part that I want to highlight, where Jim is clearly delusional, is he says, we can take it back to I really mean it, what you want to do. Jim, you don't have a verse on that song, bro. All Jim is doing is talking on it, so you don't even remember the records that you be on. It's like, dude is letting that 50-year-old show. Like, and the funny thing is, if you watch the clip with Fat Joe and Jadakiss talking, you can look at Jadakiss. Jadakiss does this thing where he's like, because even he knows Jim is bugging. On what planet, on what universe would anybody actually say that? I don't think anyone would agree with what he said. Like, that's how delusional I think he is. There's a difference between confidence and delusion. You can be confident and, say like, hey, I respect Nas, but I'm trying to be better. I do think that my rap ability has grown, which it has. I think Jim is definitely rapping better now than he was. Nas was one of my influences, but I really want to build something on his level, or maybe even better. Nobody would be mad if you say that, right? But when you run around talking about you're a bigger rapper, you got bigger hits, which also is false, which is the thing that he is been leaning on, is all of these hits and cultural significances, which still don't make sense. You talking about platinum and gold records? Which records besides We Fly High? Which records? Like, I'm trying to think. What other record he would even have that performed at that level? I don't believe it. I'm about to Google it right quick. Let's see, because I don't believe that. Let me see. Google Jim Jones gold and platinum records. Let's look. I'm reading this right. Just the fact that he has all of this and nobody can give you a name of any of these says a lot. All right. Let me not say any, because some of them, his earlier albums definitely had a little strong, especially the album, I forgot the name of it. It's not Summers with Miami. That's the record with Trey. One of the early albums did get a lot of play, but let's be real. Jim has 8 studio albums, 5 collaborative albums, 3 compilation albums, 2 EPs, 19 mixtapes, and people probably can only name 1 or 2 out of all of those records. I'm going by the numbers here. I'm looking. Like, I can guarantee you, if you ask somebody to name 2 Jim Jones albums right now, they probably wouldn't be able to name 2. I'll give him On My Way to Church Steps, because I think that was his breakout album. People was like, oh, he kind of can make music on his own. But you can't give me 2 other Jim Jones albums where it's just him. I mean, I can, just because I listen to a lot of the Jim stuff, but Jim has always been big because he's been attached to somebody. He started out with Dipset, and then he moved over to Max B, and we see how that went. And he got another wave thanks to Max B, pun intended. But let's be real, bro. Let me go down to certifications. This nigga Jim lying his ass off again. Jim was talking about he has gold records, platinum records, right? First of all, when he says records, he's talking about songs. He's not talking about albums. So let's get that straight first. Because if we go through his albums and what they did on the charts. Alright, so the platinum single he does have is We Fly High. I'll give him that one because that song was really, that was huge. That was a certified hit. So that was platinum song. The next gold song he had was Pop Champagne. Again, Jimmy being attached to somebody, not by himself. Like, that song is not hot because Jimmy's on it. You can put anybody on there and it's going to be hot. Another record that was gold, We Set Trends featuring the Migos. The Migos. And this was back when they was like hot, like in 2021. So that still don't count by yourself, bro. So let's add this up, right? Let me get my calculator. Let me get this calculator calculating right quick. So Jim Jones has 37 albums, or projects, if you will. Can somebody name 5 of those? This is not at all to like shit on him in a way of like, you know, you suck or nothing like that, but it's more of a temperature check. Like, you got to know where you at before you can spew off things that you're spewing off. You have to. All right, so let's move on to Nas's discography. All right. So Nas has 17 studio albums, 1 collaborative album, 1 group album, 5 compilations, 4 mixtapes, 1 extended play. So that's 29 projects, right? So that's Jimmy's 37 versus Nas's 29. So Jimmy has a bigger output, which I'll give him credit for that, because I will say with all the stuff that he puts out, none of it to me is just flat out garbage. I think it is, you know, to like pretty good, you know. So I don't, no slight there, but we're not talking about skills. Jim is not talking about skill. He's talking about what he's done in the game and what makes him a bigger artist. So when you cite it, and if you Google this, just a quick Google anywhere, you know, whether it be Wikipedia or whatever you choose to search, off rip, it says Nas has sold over 20 million records in the United States alone and 35 million albums worldwide. When you do the same searching for Jim Jones, it'll tell you no collective data can be given you. So that already says that no, Jim Jones, you are not the bigger rapper in any regard. Bigger rappers sell albums. Nobody has even been able to compile what you've done because it's not big enough. Like, Jim Jones to me is delusional because he thinks that because he's really big in the Northeast, which he is. I mean, from, I would say, Connecticut or even Massachusetts down to Virginia, because oddly enough, Virginia is one of those kind of weird states where it's kind of south and also northeast. But since I have ties there and I've been around in the Norfolk area, a lot of people rock with Dipset out there, and they always go there to perform. So he's really big in those areas. But bro, there's a whole other America that don't give a shit about Jim Jones. And I say that respectfully. It just is what it is. You're a regional artist. It is what it is. So let's go through what those albums actually are, right? First album, 94, Illmatic. There is not a single project Jim Jones has ever done that's better than that one alone. And that album has sold 1.6 million. First album, platinum. Album, not just a song, album. Second record, 1996, it was written. 3 times platinum. 2.95 in the US. And overall, 3 times platinum album. And I forgot to mention that Illmatic was 2 times platinum as well worldwide, but you know. Next album in 99, I Am. 2 times platinum. 2.7 million records sold in the US alone. Next album, Nostradamus. 1.2 million in the US and certified platinum. So his first 4 albums all went platinum. Albums, not singles, albums. Oh, excuse me. Next album, Stillmatic, 2001, which is one of my favorite albums. This is when I really stumbled across Nas and got to understand him as an artist. 2.7 million in the US. Double platinum. Next album, 2002, Godson, 1.3 in the US. Platinum. Next album, Street's Disciple, did less of course, 04. Still 100,000 in the US, but still, overall, platinum. And then as we get into the later years, it starts to, tremble down. But either way, Hip Hop is Dead, gold. Untitled, gold. Life is Good, gold. And that was, 2012, and then he took a hiatus for a minute, came back with Nasir, which there's no numbers for that I'm seeing here. But then after Nasir, he comes back in 2020 and releases King's Disease, King Disease 2, Magic, King's Disease 3, Magic 2, Magic 3. Because I reviewed most of those albums. 2021 to 2023, he released 6 albums that are all incredibly fire. 2 trilogies and albums. So we not finna do that, Jim. Like, come on. Like, those are the facts right there. And yes, I'm using Wikipedia, but I'm pretty sure that if you go to whatever official website you find, you'll be able to get the same information. I don't feel like doing that deep dive because I don't think it's that serious, because this is obviously just like, what the hell are you talking about? But anyway, I think Jim just needs to be quiet, because at this point he is tarnishing legacy, as I mentioned at the beginning of the year when he was dissing Cameron and starting shit for no reason. It's just a tumble of ruining your history. Just shut up, bro. Respectfully. Just be quiet and just make your music and do your thing, bro. I just wanted to make this video because since my man Film Fiend shared it with me, it's just been in my head like, how do you arrive here? I've just been thinking about it, and I figured I would just dump these thoughts in video format just to show it is what it is. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you think about this whole argument. Are you on the side of Jim Jones? Please, if you are, comment down, because I haven't seen anybody on that side, but I would be happy to start that discussion. And even if you are on the side of Nas, just let me know why and your reasoning. And of course, if you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, thank you. Until next time, peace.
Rap Nerd Productions, no capping, that's word to mommy. Instead of banking on it, now rapping is just a hobby.